Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of an upcoming game from Smirk and Dagger, Hell of a Deal. And as always, I never take any money from publishers, I just want to show off the game and help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So Hell of a Deal is another game in a genre that is growing quickly, I think probably from the popularity of Balatro partially, and that is cooperative poker games. And I do say cooperative, this game technically does not have a true solo mode yet. I think they could make one work, but it's very much balanced for 2 to 4 players at the moment. Now I'm going to play it true solo today and kind of fake it because I don't have another player here with me, but just keep in mind that what you're going to see balance-wise is not representative of the actual game, but I wanted to show you how it all plays. So the basic idea of Hell of a Deal is you're going to go against 4 basic bosses before you get to the 5th boss. It's always this guy, Nick House, and then he turns into a version of the devil, because you're kind of playing poker in hell or something in here. But if you can defeat him, the second version of Nick, his devil form, then you win the game. So it's kind of like a boss rush. Now, importantly, you can lose to the first 4 bosses. You're going to play 1 round against them, but then whether you win or lose, you'll move on. But you have to beat Nick, at least 1 player, and you have to beat the devil, at least 1 player has to beat them. And you're losing in one of 2 ways. First of all, you have this temptation track for each player. And as you use card powers to cheat and stuff, because you're going to see you can cheat to win, you'll be ticking up. Once you go past the 5, where this fiery line is, and the 10, you can no longer lower your temptation, because there are ways to heal temptation. And once a player has gotten to 10 temptation, if they gain any more, they have to give it to the other players. And once 2 players get to 10 temptation, you lose the game. Now I'm just going to play it. If I get to 10, I lose in this fake true solo mode I'm doing. Also, you are building up souls as you battle the bosses. Whenever a player folds or loses, their hand is worse than the boss's hand, they lose some souls. Now again, against the first 4 bosses, that doesn't make you lose. If you just run out of souls, it's okay. But once you get to Nick and the devil, you'll be losing a bunch of souls if you lose with your hand against them, and if you can't pay what you owe in the souls you have to lose, then you're out of the game. So it's kind of like your money that you're betting with, I guess. So that's kind of the core of how you win and lose the game. Let's just jump into the first battle, because it's a straightforward enough play, and I'll explain things as we go. Okay, so first you flip over the boss. Here we've got Deadly Allure, and a freeze frame here and talk about a few things. So first at the top here, we've got his minimum hand. So even if he has a worse hand, because we are playing Texas Hold'em, sorry, I should have said that, where you're going to have 2 whole cards and 5 cards that are shared, and you make the best 5-card hand. Even if he has a worse hand than a 10 high straight, his hand will still count as a 10 high straight. So he can do a 10 high straight or better. The -2 soul icon to the right is how much soul damage we take for each player that loses against him. Again, that is folding or just having a worse hand, like if I don't beat a straight when my hand is revealed. And then bosses will have a power. This one says at any time on their turn, players may draw an additional card and may choose to suffer 1 temptation. If they don't suffer 1 temptation, Deadly Allure draws an additional card as well. So an important thing about this game is that yes, you're playing Texas Hold'em where you have 2 whole cards and 5 shared cards. But the players and the bosses will sometimes be able to get more than 2 cards in their hand, so you can make potentially better combinations than you would in a regular game of Hold'em. All right, so now we've seen the boss. We're going to have several rounds of betting, and we're going to get our cards. So the boss gets 2 cards face down. We do have ways to look at those. We're not going to yet. And each player gets 3 cards, so we're already cheating. Now, importantly, just like in regular Texas Hold'em, you can only use 2 of your whole cards. I mean, you only have 2 whole cards in Hold'em. And then you have to use at least 3 of the shared cards. So here I've got nothing really much impressive, an 8, a 6, and a 2. But again, I could use like the 8 and the 6 with these cards that are going to come out, but I couldn't use all 3 of them without a special power that says I can. All right, now we've got our starting hands. I'm going to have a chance to bet. Then we see the flop, chance to bet, we see the turn, chance to bet, we see the river, and a final chance to bet. Now, what are you betting? This is one of the coolest parts of the game. Each player has their own little player board like this with these exact chips. So on each betting opportunity, you have to either fold or bet one of your chip types. Let's talk about what they each do. The Earn a Soul one means that if I beat a boss, I'll get another one of those souls that are the currency of our betting and what keeps us from dying in the end. But if I lose the bet, I have to take 1 temptation. So each of these chips is going to have a punishment on the back. Next is the heal a player's temptation. That, as you can imagine, lets you move somebody's temptation back 1. If you lose that one, you gain 2 temptation for yourself. And you can now heal yourself, by the way. Devilish Offering lets you do one of 4 options. I'll show those in a second, but it gives you 2 temptation. Draw a favor lets you draw one of these favor cards. You can hold 3 at a time. And these give you cool cheating powers, although sometimes to use them you have to take favor or even take a curse card, which I'll talk about in a second. Or here, I'll talk about them now because that's what's on the back of the draw a favor thing. Curses, there's kind of like Boss Fighter's QR, in that you get the curse in the current hand, but at the end of the current hand, you flip it and it affects you on the next hand. It either has an immediate effect or like restricts what you can do in the next hand. Reveal 2 cards is not going to matter at all in solo, but what it lets you do is you can show 2 of the cards in your hand to the other players, and once they're shown, you can freely discuss them, be like, I'm not going to use this 6 if anybody wants that. Because one of the Devilish Offering powers lets you trade cards with another player. And then finally, there's a Wild that can act as any of the other chips, but it gives you 1 temptation when you use it, and it also gives you a curse. Both these do if you lose the hand. And here are your Devilish Offering options. You can reveal one of the boss cards to see how strong their hand might be. You can look at the top 2 cards of the deck, keep 1 and discard 1. You can swap a card with a player. Clearly that's not going to work in true solo. Or you can draw a card from the discard, because each time a betting round happens before the new cards are flopped out or turned or rivered, you discard 1 card. Also, if players fold, their cards get discarded. So the discard pile becomes a bigger and bigger thing, and you're allowed to freely look through it and grab one of them with this. All right, I'm not feeling like I have a great chance of winning here, but what the hey? Let's bet to draw a favor. Now, all of these you resolve immediately. You just don't find out if you're going to suffer a consequence until the end of the hand. All right, what have I got? Hedge your bets. This costs me 1 temptation to play. The lightning bolt means I can use it at basically any time. You may add or remove 1 chip from your bet zone. Well, that's pretty cool, especially the adding part if I think I'm going to win. Okay, so I bet. Now we're going to go to the flop. First, we discard a card. It is a 7 of diamonds. Kind of wish that was in the flop. That would have given me, well, I guess a straight wouldn't really beat him, would it? Okay, then we get the flop. A 3 of diamonds, 4 of hearts, and a 2 of hearts. So I do have a heart, so there's small flush possibility here, although if I draw more cards with Deadly Allure's power, I could try for another flush. But don't forget, I can only use 2 cards from my hand. And what else have I got? I've got a pair of 2s, so I guess theoretically if I got another 2 and then another pair, I could get a full house. Yeah, I mean, Deadly Allure is tough to beat with a straight, although again, I can draw extra cards. Now, I can also just cut my losses and fold, which honestly, I think I'm probably going to do here. So let me show you how folding works, and yeah, I think I will fold. And I'll even use my hedging my bets power, so I do take the 1 temptation from that symbol to put this back. So when you fold, you immediately suffer the negative consequence of everything you've bet so far. So I would have taken a curse card for the next boss if I had not used that favor card to pull that chip back. But then additionally, you do have to roll this red die when you fold. You've got a 1/3 chance of gaining a favor card, which is positive. 1/3 chance of gaining a temptation. 1/3 chance of gaining a curse. And we got a curse anyway. Darn it. That's okay. So we'll see what that is against the next boss. And then in a multiplayer game, these cards will get added to the discard. Other players could potentially use them. But here the hand is done, but hey, let's see what would have come out. So we would have had another 7 discarded, and then a 9 for the turn, and then a 4 discarded, and then a jack for the turn. Okay, so I could have potentially... Oh, actually, yeah, I definitely could have gotten a diamond flush pretty easily if I'd used the Devilish Offering to pull the 7 of diamonds into my hand. And they would have had... Oh, they nearly had a hearts flush themselves. Okay. Well, that sucks. So I could have beaten them, actually, if I just stayed in the hand. But in this case, I lose up to 2 souls. I only had 1, because you start with 1 times the number of players. And I hedged all the rest of my bets, so the only thing I really got out of that was a curse and -1 soul. Not a big deal. Now, just to emphasize one more time, you are not supposed to play this true solo. I'm just doing it so I can more easily show the game. So none of this is supposed to be balanced right now for this. All right, our next is Eeny Meeny. His minimum is only 2 pair, 4s and 9s, but the current high card of the community board, as well as any cards that match its value, cannot be used by players. So once all 5 cards are out, let's say there's like a king, and that's the highest card here. Kings are dead cards, and any kings in my hand also become dead cards. So he's just kind of blocking some possibilities there. Okay, he gets his 2 cards, and I've got 10, 6, and 8. Not anything special yet. 2 diamonds. Okay. Oh, I gotta check my curse. After hands are dealt, draw a card and place it under this curse. Your scoring hand cannot include a card of that value. Oh, so my 10 is dead, and Eeny Meeny's going to make other things dead as well. That's a little bit worrisome, but he's only got a 2 pair as a minimum. I feel like I could beat that. All right, I'm going to bet to draw a favor again for my first one. Wild card. This would cost me a temptation. Oh, and I would have to discard another favor card, but then it becomes a wild in suit and value. That's amazing. Remember, you can hold 3 of those. If you get a 4th, you have to discard one, and you can keep them between boss battles. So that's why I like to draw them, because they're going to help me eventually. And here comes the flop. We discard a 5 of hearts, and the flop is a 7, a king, and a 9. Ooh. I've got 6, 8, 7, 9. I would have I would not have a straight even if I could use the 10 because that would be 3 cards from my hand. Yeah, and 10s, there's 2 of them gone, but a 5. Oh, wait, a 5 just went from, no. I was going to say a 5 just went into the discard, but I can't use 3 cards from my hand, Mike. You got to remember that. So at the moment, if I get lucky, if I can get a 5 or a 10 in the turn of the river, I should be pretty set to win, but those are low odds. Because again, 1 5's already in the discard, 2 10s are already gone. Although I guess if I get a 6 or an 8 in the turn of the river, then I can use the 5 from the discard, yeah. So I'll just do a basic earn a soul bet. That's always a pretty safe one. The only penalty is a single temptation. And we discard a queen, and the turn is an 8. Hey, we did it. Okay. So now I don't need the 8 from my hand anymore. So if I use a devilish offering to pick up the 5, I'll have a straight. Heck yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and bet that, and I will draw a card from the discard. By the way, note that these become used after one player uses them, so again, not really showing the game at its fullest in true solo, but in especially 3 and 4 player play, once like one player uses this, then the other players won't be able to use that same power, so you get a lot of nice table talk about who should use which ability. But I'm taking the 5 from the discard, which means I've got locked in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A nice straight. And the boss should not be able to beat that, theoretically, right? They've got a 2-pair minimum, but what are they going to pair with here? I guess we'll see. Got a 4 of spades discard. Ooh. Okay, another king. I mean, unless they get really lucky and have like a full house, kings and 7s, 8s, or 9s, we should be okay. Oh, and by the way, I forgot their power, that kings are dead. I should have mentioned that, but I don't need them, luckily, from my hand. I'm using all the other cards. All right, so usually best thing here is just to earn another soul, because that's going to give me, again, lives to lose to the devil if I make it that far. All right, and the showdown. So as I said, I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a 9 high straight. And Eeny Meeny's got a pair of 5s and a pair of kings, which is better than his minimum 4s and 9s, but does not beat me. So because I won, I suffer no penalties for these. If I had lost, I would have had to take a curse and taken 2 temptation. My curse goes away. There's only the last 1 round. And because I bet 2 earnest souls, I have earned 2 souls. Oh, and I don't think I said, but you do shuffle the deck between each hand, of course. And all of the used powers come back between each hand. All right, and our next friend is Misfortune. So she's got a minimum of trip 8. It's pretty rough, 3 of a kind 8. And if I play a favor card, I have to draw a curse for the next round. So even though I've got this nice wild card, I'm definitely not going to use it yet. All right, and my 3 cards are an 8, a king, and a 2. Well, so it goes for now. Let's draw another favor, I guess. Even if it's not good, I can trash it to use my wild card in the future. Straight up cheatin'. It would cost me a temptation, but I can make a straight with 4 cards. Heck yeah. I didn't mention, by the way, most of the favor cards do not have that lightning symbol that my one had earlier. And that means you can play a single favor card after you bet. Each time you bet, you can also play a single favor card. Though again, with Misfortune's power, I don't expect to do that. All right, there's my bet. Discard is a 10 of spades, not helping me. We got a jack, 7, and an 8. Okay, so I've paired up 8. If I get trip 8s to tie with her minimum hand, then we just push the hand, so that would be fine. But I don't know, I'm not feeling super confident yet. Let's earn a soul for now. I want to save the devilish offering until like the second to last chance to bet maybe, so I know if I want to get something from the discard or draw 2 cards and keep one. Okay, she's discarding a queen. All right. Oh, really? Okay, well there we go. Now we've got trip 8s to tie her minimum hand. Now, if I can get another pair, like I got a king and a 2 right now, there's nothing of a discard I could pair with, then I could get a full house and definitely beat her. That means we want to wait as long as possible, because I can use this to draw again from the discard or draw 2 cards, keep 1. So let's just bet another soul. All right, come on, man, come on. Got a 6 in the discard, doesn't help. Got a king. Ooh, there we go. There we go. If I can, no, wait, I don't need to do anything. I already got a full house. I got 8s and kings, wow. So in this case, I'm actually going to use my wild as another earn a soul. That's one of the options. It does cost me a second temptation, but who cares? And yeah, I didn't really have to do any work there, did I? I have a full house, 8s and kings, and she had nothing. I mean, I guess she had a pair of 8s, trip 8s, but that's great. Take that, Misfortune. And yep, I earn 3 souls. which means I've passed the magic number of 4 souls. 4 souls is how many each player needs to pay when you lose against Nick House or the devil himself, and that'll actually lose you the game if you can't pay it, so having at least 4 here is great. All right, we got one more boss. Demona, she's got 2 pair, queens and 10s. Whenever a heart is played into the flop, turn, or river, I have to either suffer a temptation or choose to fold, but if I don't fold, I can bet 2 chips on the next bet instead of 1. And then he clarified, because this is a prototype, things are still in development, but even if you flip like 2 or 3 hearts in the flop, you don't have to resolve that effect 2 or 3 times. All right, let's see what I've... Ooh, I got a pair of jacks. Pocket jacks. Okay, see if that works for us. A 3rd jack would already be beating her minimum hand. Okay, discard is a 4... 5 of hearts, 10 of spades, 6 of spades. Okay, so a heart did come out, so I have to either suffer a temptation or fold. Sure, I'll suffer the temptation. And now I could bet twice. I'll draw another favor card to get to my max of 3. Suit yourself. Treat spades as clubs or vice versa. Now, it's only cards in your hand, but still would make it super easy. So I've got a way to get easy straights, a way to get easy flushes, and just a wild card. Lots of great options here. Should I bet again? Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of temptation. Let's go ahead. All right, come on. Show me that jack. We're discarding a 7 and queen of clubs. Didn't help me at all. I don't really have much. Well, I guess I got 9 jack, 10 queen. So actually, I've got already a straight if I use my straight up cheating. So a 3rd jack would let me win here. A king or an 8 would mean I wouldn't have to use the straight up cheating to complete the straight. So I've got lots of options here. So we didn't get a heart. I'll just bet another soul. I'm feeling good. Okay, they discard another queen and we get an ace. It's not doing anything for us. But I feel good about my 4-card straight, so I will go ahead and take a 4th temptation. So I'm at 4 out of 10 to do a 3rd gain a soul. And after I play that, I'm going to take another temptation. So now I'm at 5 and I'm over the line. I could have healed myself. Maybe I should have. But this will make straights with 4 cards this turn. So I've got 9, 10, jack, queen. And what have they got? 6, 8. So they've got, a pair of 6s there and 2 pair. Beat them. Which means I get 3 more souls. And they do have these 6 soul tokens when you get a bunch. Although, yeah, I am wondering if I should have, instead of betting that extra soul, healed myself back to the 3 instead of going past. Oh, well. Now, don't forget, I am playing a unofficial solo nothing variant right now, which is not how the game is balanced. Okay, here we go. Nick. Now he makes you lose 4 souls if you lose, and if you can't pay, you actually lose the game. And he's got trip aces. He also gets 3 cards, and he can use all 3 in making the best scoring hand. You can't heal temptation while he's up, and if you fold, you got to roll the die twice. What a nice guy. But I've got the ability to do a wild card. I've got the ability to do a flush really easily. I've got enough souls to lose to him twice. And if I beat him, I move on to the final boss. And in a multiplayer game, if at least one of you has a better hand than Nick House, you go to the final boss. And if at least one of you can beat the final boss, you win. Although you do need to be able to pay your souls for each player who lost. All right, Nick's getting 3. Remember, he can use all 3 of them, so he could really do some crazy stuff if he gets lucky. Although he's got triple aces as a minimum, so he'll be fine. 2, 7, 10. Well, that's nearly the worst starting cards you could draw, and they're all off-suited. Lovely. Really, there's not much point in not taking the 1 temptation to see the flop, just because you might hit something really good. Not that I'm expecting it here. Okay, we got a 4 discard, not helping us at all. 3, 9, king. No flush possibilities whatsoever. Well, I guess I could use my treat spades as clubs to make my 2 of spades a club. And then if I drew this, okay, I could get to a club flush potentially here. I just need another club to come out in the community hand. Is that enough of a chance to go for? Because I really have nothing else I could do here. Well, let's draw a favor. That won't hurt me. Well, I guess it'll give me a curse for next round. Soulful. Play this favor to gain an additional soul after you defeat the boss. That's pretty weak. That's actually a perfect one to use my wild card discard requirement with. Okay, do I discard a jack of diamonds? Fine. All right, come on, show me a club. Show me. Gosh darn it. Oh, well, now I guess another spade would give me a legitimate spade flush, and another club would let me use my wild or my suit yourself power to get a flush. So I have twice the chances, although there are a lot of clubs and spades out and not very many hearts and diamonds. So it's probably a little bit less than 50-50. All right, so what should I do here? Oh, I do also have a straight possibility, don't I? 10, 7, 9, 8. But it all depends on what the board gets. I would need the board to get, a 6? Or the jack that it's got discarded, so that's not high odds. I guess I'll earn a soul again, and then I'll use a Devilish Offering in a second. I mean, again, in multiplayer, these reveal 2 cards matters a ton because then you have this trade with each other, like swap power you can use, which is great if you've revealed it so you know what each other needs, but that doesn't make sense in solo. All right, so what do I want? I want a 6, a jack, a spade, or a club. That's a lot of outs. Okay, there was the club I needed in the discard. Come on. Yes! Oh, crud. Now I gotta decide. All right, well, a flush is better than a straight. But also, if I get a flush, I'm just thinking through here. If I use the Devilish Offering to grab the 5 of clubs or the 4 of spades from there and then use my Suit Yourself power to turn the spades into clubs. If I do all of that, I'll be left with all my high cards and clubs being up here. If he happens to also have a flush, if 2 of these are clubs for him, he's almost certainly going to have a higher club in the wash than me and beat me. Whereas the straight, there's no way he's going to have. So I feel like I shouldn't waste the card going for the flush because my straight is probably going to be good enough. Okay, so I'm not going to use any cards. We'll see. Oh, I have to bet again. I guess I'll bet for another soul and gain temptation. Okay, and he has 6. He has a pair of 9s. Nope, he just has his triple 3s. We win. Getting lucky with the board here. So we're going into the final round with a lot of ways to kick this guy's butt. And I've got so many souls, I've got a lot of chances to try it. And here he is, the devil himself. He's still got 3 aces. He still gets 3 cards that he can use all of. But now if I play my Devilish Offering, I take 1 temptation, and folding costs an extra soul, 5 instead of 4. Now, importantly, there's going to be a ton of different versions of that devil himself with different powers. Okay, here's the devil's 3. Now I've got, okay, pocket jacks. Again, I can work with that. All right, so I want to try to beat him. But, I mean, I have favor cards. I have stuff I can do. I'm just going to bet a soul for the moment. Discard a 10. We got a 9 of hearts. 3 of hearts, 3 of spades. So far I got the beginning of a flush, and I guess 2 pair jacks and 3s, which would not beat his aces, but if I get another 3 or another jack, I got a full house, so that's certainly good. I do have my wild card. Although if I'm going for the full house, it's not going to be better than the jacks. If another 3 comes up, I could change my full house into a 4 of a kind. That would certainly win. I guess I'll just earn a... Well, actually, here, I'll heal my temptation back down to 5. Okay, discard. 2 of diamonds, whatever. And the turn... Oh, 2 of hearts. Oh, I've got a jack high flush almost. And with my wild card power, I could definitely have I could make it an ace of hearts to not just have a flush, but have the highest flush so that even if the boss has some hearts, he shouldn't beat me. All right. Let's actually draw a favor. Ditch this soulful one because it's such crap. 1 for the team. Cancel all negative chip effects of a single player this round. Oh, but geez, at a cost of a curse and a temptation. No, thank you. Okay, discard. 6 of clubs, whatever. All right, let's see. 4 of clubs. All right, so the best I can do right now is with my wild, an ace high heart flush. So let's do it. I guess I'll bet... Oh, we haven't done this at all. Let me do a Devilish Offering. Let's see what the boss's card is. So if I see a heart... That'd be scary. King of hearts. Okay. I mean, even if he has a heart, I should still be okay. So I'm going to use my wild card, trashing my 1 for the team to pay for it. Gets me up to 6 temptation. And for my final scoring hand, I've got ace, jack, 9, 3, 2, heart flush. All right, what you got, buddy? 6 of diamonds? Nope. 9 of diamonds. So he's got 2 pair, right? I think that's the best he can do. Or 3 aces. Boom! We won in our cheating solo, not really how the game is played mode. Oh, I forgot the Devilish Offering costs 1 extra temptation, so it would have been up at 7. So that is hell of a deal. Again, not playing officially, but still showing you mostly how the game works. And what do I think of this one? I've really enjoyed these cooperative and solo poker-based games recently. Like, what are some? River Rats I covered, or Drawing Dead from the Gabe Barrett solo series. I just think these are a lot of fun. And this one's really cool, too. We've really enjoyed it. I've played it 2-player, I've played it 3-player, I've cheated and played it solo. And the game is exciting, the bosses are varied, and I believe there are even more coming than what they sent me in the prototype. It's also a good amount of cooperation because you have to discuss how you're going to kind of divvy these up. You can trade cards with each other. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're usually mostly playing your own hand, but still there are a lot of opportunities to help each other out or to have one player win even if another player loses. I like the powers in these favor cards. There's a ton of them with a lot of variety. The curses can be super frustrating. So yeah, just cool stuff going on overall. My biggest caveat, my biggest potential warning for the game is that, it's poker, so it's very luck-based. And I'll say, especially the luck I've noticed really comes down to what comes out in the flop, turn, and river. Because as you saw, you have tons of ways to change the 2 cards in your hand, right? You can draw from the discard. You can use powers to draw extra cards from the deck. But since, generally speaking, you can only use 2 cards from your hand no matter what, really your possibilities of hand strength are going to come down to what the flop, turn, and river contain. And especially when you're going against bosses that have pretty strong minimum hands, like that first guy that had a straight or the devil that has 3 aces, sometimes you'll get a terrible set of cards for the community that you can't really beat them with easily. And don't get me wrong, there are a few favor cards that let you look at the cards on top of the deck and mess with them so you can kind of control what's going to come out in the turn in the river. But I do wish just a little bit that there was some kind of always-on option, even if it had like an extra cost, maybe a Devilish Offering or something like that, that would let you mess with the community cards just to give you some control when they just suck and like have no combinations that'll help players build winning hands. And you saw on the opposite side of things in this game, I often just like kind of ended up with a straight or ended up with a flush without having to do much work just because the community cards came out nicely and the boss's cards didn't help them much. So yeah, it's still poker. Things are going to be random, but it doesn't change the fact that the game is tense, fun, quick to play, quick to teach, varied, and yeah, just a joy. I really had a good time with this one, and so did everyone I played it with. So check out Hell of a Deal. Its page should be up soon or now as of the publishing of this video, and see what y'all think. Thanks for watching, everybody, and a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, KCW, Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.